Exciting news for Cannondale fans. A new bike has been leaked via some riders at Team EF-EducationFirst-EasyPost. Now, I've seen images and I've seen a video of the bike, so I'm going to share everything that I think I know about the new offering. The first obvious thing is that it seems to share quite a few similarities with the current SuperSix Evo 3. So this model is presumably going to be its replacement. If so, that means it will then be known as the SuperSix Evo 4, essentially the fourth generation of the SuperSix Evo platform. The current model of Cannondale SuperSix Evo was launched in the summer of 2019, which, although that's just 3.5 years ago, it works out to be the typical lifespan of a modern road bike. Usually, brands tend to refresh models from anywhere between 3 and 5 years. Now, if you've watched either our latest Tech of the Month or our 2023 Road Bike Tech Trends video, then you'll know that we were suspecting a new bike would be coming from Cannondale. But I'm surprised it's come so soon. I was personally expecting the bike to be showing up at the Tour de France, but clearly both Cannondale and EF want to be on the bike for the start of the new season. Now, while the current generation and this new model do seem to share quite a few similarities, there are still some significant changes which do indeed confirm that this is a brand new bike. Firstly, the change that probably most Cannondale fans will be very happy to see is actually the redesigned cable routing from the handlebars down into the frame. The outgoing SuperSix Evo featured a channel on the front of the head tube through which then the cables entered. But in some instances, this then caused damage to the cables and the hoses, and it created an aesthetic sore point for when you used anything other than a Cannondale issue cockpit. The new model appears to feature cleaner routing through the bottom spacer, and in turn it looks like the ability to use different bar and stem combinations is going to be a lot easier to do, and it won't provide such an eyesore. Because of that, it then creates a smoother head tube appearance, and the rear of the head tube itself actually looks to be even more squared off than before. Another area of reshaped tubing is found at the seat tube. On the outgoing model, the seat tube remained consistent in depth from the top to the bottom, but there's a very significant change at the junction with the seat stays on this new version. The seat stays now meet the seat tube lower down, but the area above that junction is now a lot more aerodynamically optimized. But then when you look below it, it's now a lot thinner, and we can only assume that that has been done to build in compliance into the frame. Now, to go back to that section of tubing above the seat stay junctions, you can see that it is a lot more aero, and it also looks like Cannondale have got rid of the D-shaped seat post and then have replaced it with, again, something that's a lot more aerodynamic. Now, while it's impossible to tell from the images, I'm going to take a punt and I'm going to assume that it is going to have a threaded bottom bracket. Obviously, we can't see that, but I think it's fair to assume that this new bike will be following in the footsteps of other recently released Cannondales. The super eagle-eyed viewers amongst you may have noticed this Lab 71 logo on the side of the frame. Now, we've seen reports of Cannondale trying to trademark the moniker, and I reckon that the 71 potentially relates to 1971, which is, of course, the birth year of Cannondale. But what does it mean? Well, maybe it's Cannondale's version of S-Works for Specialized, denoting the use of a higher grade of carbon fibre. Or maybe it's much like Trek's Project One system, where you have a custom paint job service. Until we get clarification from Cannondale, we aren't going to know. But it definitely means something quite exciting. Now, while these images give us a slight idea of what tyre clearance could be, I think it's actually better to look at the overall market trend. The fact is, nobody's going to be making a bike with less clearance. Now, the current third generation has space for 30mm wide tyres. I think it's fair to assume that this model would probably come with either 32 or 34mm worth of clearance. The question I'm sure we're all asking though is, when will this bike launch? Well, since riders have fully built, fully painted bikes, I think it's fair to assume that the release will be imminent. Clearly, the team and Cannondale want to kick off the year with the brand new bike, so I'm sure it's only a matter of time before we see the red carpet rolled out for the latest SuperSix Evo. What do you think of the new bike though? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, then please do drop it a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you again very soon.